Hello, everyone. This is Mark Levesque coming to you with another Master Plan Moment. I have a quick question for you. Is what you do really who you are? I mean, that's a good question to think about. Does what we do define who we are? I mean, here's a picture of a banquet I visited. It was a great time. I met a lot of new people, and whenever I met someone new, they always asked me, "What do you do?" And that got me thinking. That's a question that we ask very often when we first meet someone. But really, that's not the most important thing. What we do is not as important as who we are. Does what we do define who we are? These are all important questions. We ask people what we do, and we're conditioned for that because it kind of gives us a benchmark for understanding if we're going to have anything in common with this person, or is it someone that I should grow in relationship with, and so forth. But really, it's the wrong question. It's who we be that's much more important than what we do. And we're human beings, not human doing. So it's very important to realize that what I do does not define me. It's really who I am that defines me. And so the answer is no. What you do isn't who you are. Here's a picture of a person sweeping a floor. It's actually in a church. I remember the individual who swept the floor at the church that I led for a period of time, and that individual did a great job, he took great pride in his work, and it really was nice to have such a clean place to visit. But no one ever came to check out his work from the news agencies or CNN or Fox. But if the President of the United States came to our church and he was sweeping up the floor, CNN would be there, Fox News, every other news bureau would be there. Not because someone's sweeping the floor, because no one ever showed up when our custodian did it. But if the President of the United States came, certainly they would be there filming that. Why? Not because someone's sweeping the floor, but because of who is sweeping the floor. You see, it's not the sweeping of the floor that matters, that brings the value. It's not what we do that brings the value. It's who we are. It's because of the person of the President of the United States was sweeping the floor that it was newsworthy. You see, we don't get intrinsic value from what we do. We bring value to what we do. That's the primary direction value comes from. Then once you know that you have value and you're bringing value to what you do, there is value in what you do. There is value in doing a good job, but the value doesn't come from it. The value of what we do doesn't define us. It's who we are that defines us, and then we define what we do by what we are. And if you know who you are, you bring much more value to what you do than the other way around. And that's actually how you find more purpose and meaning in your work. We find more purpose and meaning in our work by knowing that we bring value to our work and not the other way around. So how do we find value? First, how do we define who we are? Well, first of all, it's not in working for money. It's not in working for our bosses. It's not like we have a job. There's a story about three people that were building, like a brick walls for a building at the Kennedy Space Center. And one guy was building kind of a short wall, and they asked him what he was doing. He says, "Well, this is how I'm earning my living." And then they went to another gentleman, and they asked him, his wall was a little bigger, a little higher. Said, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm actually building this building, and I'm more of a craftsman," so he did a much better job. And a third guy, his wall was even higher and was even better built, and they asked this person, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm actually putting a man on the moon." So that person really understood the quality of his work, and so the value that we bring to our work actually creates a much better job, and work is much more enjoyable. In the book of Colossians, it says in chapter 3, "Whatever you do, work it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for human masters." If we do our work for a much higher calling, like unto the Lord, work becomes much more enjoyable. And then we won't have to be forced by our boss to go to work on Monday mornings. Mondays will not be, another Monday. It'll be Marvelous Monday, because we really enjoy what we do, not because of what we're doing, but because of the value we bring to our work and for the purpose of our work. If we do our work as unto the Lord, it creates intrinsic value. Even the mundane things become valuable because we're not doing it for our human bosses. We're not doing it to make a living. We're doing it because the Lord's doing it through us, because God lives in us. He's the strength in our work, our guide in our work, and our work becomes much more valuable, and we do a much better job, and we find much more meaning and purpose and joy in our work. really that's the secret to everything. It's also the secret to work. There was a mystery hidden for all the ages. You go read Colossians chapter 1, it talks about Paul praying day and night for the members of the church in Colossae and Ephesus, that they would get this understanding, that they would understand something that's hidden through all ages. He truly knew that the only one that could satisfy the heart is the person that made the heart. So he wanted them to get this revelation, that the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory, that when Christ lives in a person, there's an expectation of glory. Glory is what you see Christ doing through you in this world. It brings a glory, a beauty in things that we don't see otherwise. And so even the most mundane things at work become valuable and take on meaning when we know who we are. And who we are, we take who we are to our work ends up becoming valuable. It's not that we're finding value in our work alone, like our work defining us. Who we are defines what we do and brings value in what we do. So that's really the key, is you don't get value from your work. You bring value by who you are and who's doing it through you. That creates value in work. It's almost an opposite way. It really is an opposite way at looking at work, but it brings so much value, so much more purpose and meaning in work, and so much more joy in all that we do. Thank you again. This is Mark Levesque with another Master Plan Moment. Look for another Master Plan Moment coming soon. Again, thank you and have a great day.